And again, especially like, yes, it's a relatively small sample size, and one performance could dramatically swing some of these numbers in either direction. But most of the time they're getting blown out in these starting groups, it's against good teams. And like, I just think we now have seen 5 or 6 times where their starting group cannot contend with the other top starting lineups in the league. So I think longer term, this needs to be a change, but it seems like the coaching staff does not agree for now.
There's some strong lineup data too. So Luka, Marcus, and Rui with LeBron and Austin off is +6 per 100 possessions and 217 possessions. And then that LeBron, Jake LaRavia, Vando unit with Luka off is just crushing. They're +23 per 100 possessions. So there's some strong kind of like data that supports that if you partner Marcus and Rui with Luka, and you partner Jake and Vando plus whoever the small guard is with LeBron, that's your best formula. And like Jovan said, just with a center, whoever that is that's available that night.
I do want to mention the super chat here. Since Sacramento beat Denver, Minnesota, Houston in the last month without Sabonis and Levine, don't let anyone take this win away. Look, anybody can win on any given night, especially if the opponent takes them lightly or something like that. You got to win over an NBA team, but I also don't think this is not the same as, whoa, okay, the Lakers went out there and they just beat Denver, let's say, right, last night, and really showed something that makes us feel a little bit better about that 3-game losing streak. No, I don't think this is going to ease the fears about the team, but it was nonetheless good to see them step up in the way that they certainly needed to. Whether or not that's sustainable in terms of their attention to detail on the defensive side of the ball, the effort that was put in, the second efforts that we saw from them, I think that will continue to be a question until they show that it's not. And so I think it's a good win, no question, but I don't think it's necessarily easing fears completely. We still need to see this team get some quality wins here. Before we leave this topic, though, I want to ask you guys, JJ Redick threw out there 250 minutes. He's been told from those upstairs, I'm paraphrasing, but that 250 minutes is what you need to see to effectively be out of small sample size territory. Jovan, do you agree with that? And do you think I question, did he really mean 250 minutes or did he mean 250 possessions? Either way, these lineups that we're talking about are well short of either one of those numbers. But do you agree with that we need to have that bigger sample size?
I've been hearing a ton of buzz surrounding sports cards lately, and so I'm very excited to announce our new partnership with Fanatics Live. A great place to go if you're trying to get into sports cards. Fanatics Live is an awesome place to go to get in on the fun of ripping sports cards. It's an app where fans buy and rip cards together 24/7 with live on-screen hosts guiding the action. Let's check out the Fanatics Live Instant Rips pack. Right here, we're ripping an NBA pack. Let's see what we got. Here we go. First card, we got Bronny. Bronny's here. Might be playing a little bit more if the Lakers don't figure things out here pretty soon. So what's cool is all I have to do is go down to collection, and there's my card right there. I can manage everything within the app. It's got my estimated value. I can sell it right now. I can have it sent to me. All of it is managed through the app. You're ripping cards on the streams. You're managing your collection within the app. You can even get an instant offer for an app credit equal to 90% of the market value of the card. You can also do card breaks on here. You can collect what you want without buying the full box. Spots in a break usually correspond to teams. When you get a team, you then get all the cards from that team that come out of that box. You can do pick your team breaks where you choose which spot you want. Or you can do auction breaks where the spots are auctioned off starting at $1 and teams get randomly assigned. New users can get a free instant rips pack with a graded card to try it out. Use the link in the description to download the app and join your first stream to get your pack.
Agree with that we need to have that bigger sample size.
Yes and no, because this has been a trend with the Lakers for several years now, where I believe, I could be mistaken on this, but I believe, I think it's at least with the starting group. I don't know how many other lineups have reached that 250 minute threshold. I think only one Lakers lineup over the past 40 years has even reached the 250 minute threshold. So I think at some point you have to throw out the ideal of how you view a lineup or when it hits certain benchmarks in terms of minutes and possessions. And it's like, we could take the extreme here, right? Like a small ball lineup of Nick Smith Jr., Gabe Vincent, Marcus Smart, Austin Reeves, and Dalton Connect. We don't need to see that lineup to know that that lineup would not be a good lineup. and like you could use some critical thinking skills to assess the weaknesses in that group and say, hey, that lineup should never play together under any circumstances unless it's garbage time. I know I'm making an extreme example there, but I think similarly, looking at the starting group, one at full strength, you see that the Lakers are starting their 5 best offensive players / scorers, and I would say maybe one above average defender, like I guess one above average defender, and that's an issue. And when they still only have these like pockets of 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes played together in games, but they're consistently losing those minutes. So I get like, if you want to be stubborn and view it like, hey, they've played something like 85 minutes together and we need double or triple the sample size, so be it. I just think that's more like confirmation bias from the coaching staff in terms of, we believe in this lineup and we're going to go down, riding this lineup until the end. But depending on who, like I've talked to Crane just about this. It's about like 500 possessions offensively and 850 possessions defensively is when lineups like stabilize in terms of what you can expect. The Lakers are probably not going to get that many possessions with this group, throughout the rest of the season. But I just think, I think we've seen enough, especially within the context of like them versus good teams, that we could retire it. And also like Ayton, LeBron, and Rui, I believe, or no, Ayton. There's a quartet, and then there's also the trio of Luka, LeBron, and Rui. They're almost at 200 minutes played together, and they're depending on the configuration, it's like somewhere between a -10 to -16. So that one is like already almost at the 250 minutes of like, that's just not a trio that should be playing together. So but I think it's enough of a sample size. I don't think we need to see them go down 10 to 12 points 5 minutes into a game 5 more times to be like, hey, this doesn't really work.
When what you would predict coming into an experiment is already being confirmed in these situations, and it's a negative thing, yeah, I think you have reason to stop doing that thing. Now, that said, the Lakers did have much better effort level there. They clearly were fired up. The way JJ described their practice from the other day, it didn't sound like the uncomfortable practice, at least not for the players. Sounded like it was mostly the players talking to the coaches rather than the other way around.
He walked it back. He walked it back.
They definitely did. And I firmly believe that there are only so many times over the course of a season. There's a limited number of times over the course of a season when a coach can push the button where they're screaming and yelling, they're, snapping clipboards over their knee and throwing chairs and all that kind of stuff. You can only do that so many times before it starts falling on deaf ears and they start tuning you out. So if JJ ultimately decided, you know what, I'm heated after the game against Houston, I cool off between now and then, I'm going to adjust my strategy. Whatever it was, it worked. Whatever the strategy was, it worked. Whether it was hellfire and brimstone coming and JJ's just breathing fire or not, and clearly it was not, it worked because we saw a much more focused and locked in Lakers team.